The heavens were tearing apart, and at the heart of the collapse, a madman dared to turn destruction itself into a weapon. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Wang Lin seemed to grasp something. When the mysterious old man's origin soul had taken control of his body to cast spells, the old man had only drawn upon a minute portion of his own origin energy. The rest had been borrowed from the very fabric of the world itself. This technique bore a resemblance to the spell capable of extracting souls from all things. There were similarities, yes, but what lay beneath was far deeper, far more profound. Yet such a spell stood far beyond Wang Lin's current level of cultivation. Though he had touched upon its essence, there remained a thin, elusive barrier he could not break through. As the old man guided his body forward at terrifying speed, Wang Lin had no leisure to dwell on these thoughts. He could clearly sense that the old man's origin soul within him was dissipating at an alarming rate. In the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, more than half of the old man's origin soul had already vanished. It was evident he was burning his own existence as the price for such speed. Wang Lin could no longer comprehend just how fast they were moving. As his body merged with the world, it felt as though time itself stretched infinitely around him. He was no longer traversing the void, but stepping upon the currents of time. It was of course an illusion, yet Wang Lin could find no better way to describe such velocity. This perception was not without reason. Wang Lin had already grasped the concept of spatial bending, a divine ability belonging to second-step cultivators. Though he could not merge with the world as effortlessly as the old man who did so as naturally as breathing given, sufficient preparation he too could achieve it. Had he been a corporeal yang cultivator without such comprehension, his origin soul would have shattered under this kind of movement. At best, he would suffer grave injury. At worst, his soul would collapse entirely. Even so, despite his understanding of spatial bending, Wang Lin could feel his origin soul straining, unable to endure such prolonged traversal in this state. Under the old man's control, his body never once separated from the world. It was as if every fragment of his being, his flesh, his bones, even his origin soul had been divided into countless grains, each one blending seamlessly into the world itself. To merge with the world was to transcend distance, to arrive anywhere in an instant. Yet this power was not without its limits, otherwise the old man would have simply appeared at his destination, rather than racing forward in such a manner. To Wang Lin, that brief half-incense stick of time felt like a century. And within that century, he endured a raging storm, one that threatened to tear him apart grain by grain. He struggled with all his might, resisting the force that sought to scatter his very existence. The pain was unbearable, yet within that agony lay unimaginable fortune. As his origin soul struggled within the storm, his connection with the world deepened, slowly, inexorably. That feeling engraved itself into the depths of his being, something that would remain with him forever. If other cultivators were to witness Wang Lin's current state, many would be driven to envy. For second-step cultivators beyond origin energy, the true path lay in comprehending laws controlling them and ultimately wielding them. Yet such concepts were vague, intangible. Thus, merging with the world became a gateway, a method to touch the laws themselves. Only by becoming one with the world could one begin to glimpse its truths. At this moment, the mysterious old man was unknowingly guiding Wang Lin along this path. It was as though a pair of invisible hands held his origin soul, forcing it into union with the world. It was torment, but the gains were real. His origin soul grew ever closer to the world, as though it had always belonged to it. At the same time, Wang Lin's domain began to resonate with the world itself. His karma domain stirred, testing itself against the grand Tao of karma that permeated existence. Nor was his origin soul alone in benefiting. His physical body underwent transformation as well. After the earlier cleansing, his origin energy had already fully fused with his flesh. Now, under the prolonged state of merging with the world, his body followed the same path as his soul, becoming one with existence itself. Yet this was not the most crucial point. The true essence lay in the process itself. To merge with the world, his body had to disperse, to dissolve into nothingness. It was as though his physical form had collapsed, yet he did not die. Only in such a state could he reconstruct his body elsewhere. Remaining in this state for so long meant that his body had naturally absorbed the power of the world's origin energy. Every strand of muscle, every drop of blood, each was infused with that primordial force. Of course, none of this had been intentional on the old man's part. Had Wang Lin not met all these conditions, the moment the old man reappeared and withdrew from his body, Wang Lin's origin soul would have collapsed and perished. Wang Lin and the evil youth tore through the world. Moments later, Wang Lin's figure emerged upon a fragment at the northern edge of the Thunder Celestial realm. The instant his body reformed, the old man's origin, soul fully dissipated, vanishing without a trace. Wang Lin regained control of his body almost immediately. A long-lost sense of familiarity surged within him. Without hesitation, he expelled the origin energy within his body through his pores. It coalesced into a vortex, then detonated violently. Borrowing the force of that collapse, Wang Lin retreated at incredible speed. Just as he withdrew, the evil youth appeared. His hand shot forward only to be struck by the explosion, grasping nothing but empty space. Wang Lin did not pause. He sped into the distance and with a flick of his hand summoned his celestial sword, unleashing 8 heavenly chops around him. Cracking sounds echoed, space itself fractured. The invisible force that sought to imprison him was torn apart by the blade's might. His expression darkened as he accelerated further. He had once suffered the consequences of being surrounded from behind. This time he would not make the same mistake. The evil youth's gaze turned icy. He looked around at the surrounding fragments, his brows furrowing slightly. "This place," he muttered, voice low. This was once the imperial capital of the Thunder Celestial realm, the very core of its existence, and the closest point to the ancient celestial realm before its collapse. He paused, eyes narrowing. Legend has it, when the ancient celestial realm still stood, this was where the ancient celestials descended. A flicker of doubt crossed his expression. Just what is the purpose of that person who also wields the power of a celestial lord? After a brief moment of contemplation, the evil youth cast a glance toward Wang Lin's distant figure. His eyes flickered coldly as he raised his right hand and pointed forward. At once a sphere of crimson light condensed at his fingertip. Within it, countless fine threads appeared, intertwining and weaving together at astonishing speed. In the blink of an eye, they formed a dense, pulsating core. The sphere blazed with a dazzling red glow, then shot forth like a streak of blood-colored lightning, tearing through space toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's scalp tingled as every hair on his body stood on end. He cursed inwardly. If not for the mysterious old man, he would have already escaped. Now that the blood body was gone, his path of retreat had been severed. A suffocating sense of crisis surged over him. Clenching his teeth, Wang Lin abandoned all thoughts of escape. He spun around and spat out the fragment stamp, sending it forward to block the incoming attack. The instant the crimson sphere collided with the fragment stamp, the entire artifact trembled violently. Yet it did not shatter. Instead, a terrifying force erupted from within it and slammed into Wang Lin's body. His face turned deathly pale as he was blasted backward, coughing up a mouthful of blood. But the assault did not end there. That force surged through the fragment stamp in relentless waves, crashing into him again and again. Wang Lin coughed up blood 3 times in succession, his aura wavering, yet his eyes burned with ferocity. "It won't be so easy to kill me." Gripping the fragment stamp with one hand, he slapped his bag of holding with the other. A shimmering screen instantly appeared before him. The moment it emerged, it trembled violently. Then, in an instant, the mountain and river painting unfurled, spreading across the heavens and earth. It was as though the entire world had been transformed into an immense painting of mountains and rivers. A vast and ancient power surged forth from the painting. Standing upon it, Wang Lin felt the incoming force dissipate. That boundless energy then flowed into the fragment stamp, neutralizing the destructive power within it. Mountain and river painting, the evil youth's pupils shrank. But almost immediately, he sneered, his expression filled with disdain. A worthless imitation. He raised his hand and slashed downward without mercy. A crisp, tearing sound echoed. The very fabric of heaven and earth twisted violently. The illusion of the mountain and river painting shattered, and Wang Lin was forcibly expelled from it. His face turned even paler as he reappeared. Without hesitation, he retreated rapidly. Back then, I borrowed the mountain and river painting and studied it for 1,000 years, the evil youth said coldly. Even if you possess the genuine article, with your mere upper celestial cultivation, I could still break it. With a step forward, he prepared to pursue. But suddenly he halted. His gaze dropped cold and sharp toward the land beneath him. The fragment they stood upon began to tremble violently. Not just a single region, but the entire fragment. The shaking grew increasingly intense. In the span of a breath, countless mountains collapsed, crumbling into dust. It was as if an invisible giant hand was grinding down every protrusion upon the land. Then, the fragment rose into the air. It surged upward with terrifying speed, closing in on the evil youth in an instant. His expression darkened as he immediately soared upward to evade it. Meanwhile, Wang Lin swiftly withdrew his treasures and retreated without pause. His expression was calm, his gaze unwavering. He did not spare the fragment a single glance. Instead, as he fled, he attempted once more to merge with the world. From the distant horizon came the deafening roars of countless thunder beasts. As the fragment ascended, the massive chains attached to its edges began to tremble violently. Upon each chain stood a thunder beast, roaring, straining, dragging the fragment upward with overwhelming force. This fragment was being lifted by their collective might, and it was not alone. At that very moment, 49 fragments, nearly 40% of the thunder celestial realm, began to shake and rise into the sky. They arranged themselves into an immense formation. At its center was the fragment upon which Wang Lin and the evil youth stood. The formation resembled a vast plum blossom, magnificent and terrifying. All 49 fragments were linked by colossal chains, each one pulled by a roaring thunder beast. Their combined strength lifted the fragments into the heavens, their cries echoing endlessly through the celestial realm. The air was filled with the grinding, thunderous sound of movement. The fragments trembled, not only from the strain of being pulled, but because they had begun to rotate. The 48 outer fragments slowly revolved around the central one. At first the motion was sluggish, but it grew faster and faster with each passing breath. The chains connecting the outer fragments strained beyond their limits, snapping one after another, unable to restrain the accelerating motion. Soon the rotation reached speeds comparable to a cultivator in flight. As the fragments spun, a vortex began to form. It was unimaginably vast. All mountains upon the 49 fragments collapsed under the violent motion. The entire thunder celestial realm trembled, as though awakening from a deep slumber, only to face destruction. At the heart of the rotating formation, the vortex tore open a massive void, one that radiated an overwhelming suction force. Under this pull and the relentless tremors, the thunder celestial realm began to truly collapse. This was no mere destruction of a fragment, nor the collapse of a single region of space. This was a catastrophe on a scale unseen since the original shattering of the thunder celestial realm. Cracks split across the sky, vast and jagged. From within them poured icy winds that howled like the cries of ghosts. The fissures spread endlessly, devouring the heavens. It was the end of the world. All cultivators within the thunder celestial realm were seized by indescribable terror. Even the evil youth stood frozen in shock. He had never expected that the one who lured him here had orchestrated something of such magnitude. To use the fragments of the thunder celestial realm as a formation. He muttered, his voice low and shaken. But this is far more than a mere formation. His pupils shrank. Could it be? This person intends to refine the entire thunder celestial realm into a magical treasure. He sucked in a sharp breath. Even with his composure, a single thought surfaced uncontrollably in his mind. Madman. Wang Lin, too, was utterly stunned. All around him echoed the deafening sounds of collapsing space, thunderous, endless. It was as if countless fragments were colliding, shattering, and grinding against one another. He instinctively slowed down. Cracks filled his surroundings, devouring all destructive force. The sight made his mind tremble, his scalp go numb. Then, a wild, arrogant laughter resounded throughout the celestial realm. At the same moment, the mysterious old man appeared once more, his face brimming with excitement. "I have entered the celestial realm hundreds of times and laid these plans over tens of thousands of years," he roared. "In this world, who else possesses the courage of this old man? To refine the celestial realm itself and scheme against the illustrious celestial lord Qing Shui. Ha ha ha! Who else would dare?" His voice thundered like a storm. "This old man shall take half of the thunder celestial realm and forge it into a treasure. In the all-heaven star system, who will stand against me? With this I will shatter the spatial barrier. From this day forth, my all-heaven star system will no longer need the all-heaven stone to enter the Alliance star system freely." His eyes burned with boundless ambition. "Master Zhongshen, when I was forced to leave, I swore one day I would return and lead the millions of cultivators of the all-heaven star system." His laughter grew even more unrestrained. To crush the Cultivation Alliance, the vortex formed by the rotation of the 49 fragments drove the Thunder Celestial realm toward collapse. Its immense suction reverberated throughout the entire realm, pulling at everything with an irresistible force. The large-scale destruction only intensified. Cracks spread wildly across the sky, multiplying with terrifying speed. It was as though an unseen blade was carving open the heavens, widening the fissures with every passing moment. Anyone who strayed too close would not only be overwhelmed by the sheer spectacle, but would be devoured by those endless fractures. At this moment, Master Flamespark hovered in the air, a strange gleam flickering within his eyes. His arms were spread wide, and beneath him the fragments slowly began to rotate as well. "Today, this old man's thunder celestial formation shall be complete." His laughter rang out sharp and triumphant. Forming a seal with his hands, he unleashed a surge of origin energy that poured into the fragment below like a boundless tide. Wang Lin's mind trembled violently. His expression darkened as he stared silently at Master Flamespark in the distance. The evil youth, however, showed no fear. Instead, his eyes lit up with interest. To refine the celestial realm into a magical treasure. "How fascinating," he said slowly. "But if this is all you intend, then it lacks a treasure soul. Without that, what use is it?" High above, Master Flamespark laughed aloud. "Who says there is no treasure soul appear?" As his voice echoed, he spat out a ray of grey light. Within it lay an ancient mirror, no larger than a palm. Yet in an instant it expanded, growing into an oval mirror as tall as a man. Its surface rippled and twisted. Then, an origin soul emerged. The moment it appeared, dense origin energy surged outward like a storm. The origin soul of an illusory yin cultivator. Wang Lin's pupils contracted. The evil youth's gaze sharpened. "Rank 4 upper celestial," he said calmly, making no move. He was clearly content to observe how Master Flamespark intended to carry out this grand refinement. Moreover, he had already discerned that the figure before him was merely an avatar, not the true body. The illusory yin origin soul drifted in the air, its eyes clouded with confusion. "The 49th soul, go!" Master Flamespark shouted. At once the origin soul's eyes blazed with light as though ignited from within. It clasped its hands respectfully toward Master Flamespark before vanishing in an instant. Using a method beyond Wang Lin's comprehension, it appeared at the outermost fragment and merged into it. That fragment came alive. Spirit surged within it as though it had gained a soul. And this was only the beginning. Before Wang Lin's eyes, ripples spread across the mirror again and again. With each command from Master Flamespark, more illusory yin origin souls emerged. each one vanishing into a different fragment. Soon, 28 of the 49 spinning fragments possessed a treasure soul. Treasure soul appear once more. Master Flamespark's excitement grew uncontrollable. The mirror twisted violently once again, and another origin soul emerged, its aura far stronger than the previous ones. Wang Lin inhaled sharply, a corporeal yang cultivator. The evil youth remained composed. Rank 9 upper celestial. Not bad. One after another, 13 more corporeal yang origin souls followed, merging into the fragments. Now 42 of the 49 fragments pulsed with life. Their power surged endlessly, the formation growing more terrifying by the breath. Once more, Master Flamespark laughed like a madman. This day, this moment, was the culmination of tens of thousands of years of preparation. The mirror trembled again. After more than 10 breaths, another origin soul slowly emerged. It was ancient, withered, its spirit faint. Yet the moment it appeared, the origin energy it released surpassed that of the previous 42 combined. Wang Lin's eyes shrank. The aura was vast, terrifying, on par with the ancestor of the Hua family. The origin soul of a Nirvana scryer cultivator. The evil youth narrowed his eyes, licking his lips slowly. Rank 3 Sky Celestial. The old origin soul gazed upward, its expression dazed as if recalling distant memories. But at Master Flamespark's shout, it trembled, fear flooding its eyes. It merged into a fragment. Immediately, a crushing pressure erupted from the 7th fragment, elevating the formation once more. But it still did not end. 2 massive hands suddenly emerged from within the mirror, as though tearing it apart from the inside. Then, another origin soul stepped out. A middle-aged man, his face steeped in sinister energy. The moment he appeared, he let out a ferocious roar, and a storm of crimson evil aura swept outward. Wang Lin was forced to retreat instinctively, shock filling his eyes. He could no longer gauge this soul's strength, only that it was slightly inferior to the blood ancestor. Rank 9 Sky Celestial, the evil youth said, eyes gleaming with greed, though he made no move to seize it. Master Flamespark gazed at the man, a trace of regret flickering across his face. This was the 4th person fated with this old man. Unfortunate. Then his voice hardened. 6th soul go. The man, brimming with killing intent, stared at Master Flamespark. After a brief silence, he surged forward and merged into a fragment. A monstrous, malevolent aura erupted from the 6th fragment, spreading across the entire formation. Under its influence, the formation's power surged once more. Before the echoes of that aura could fade, crack, a sharp sound rang out. A fracture appeared on the mirror. From within the distortion, another origin soul stepped forward. An old man. The moment he appeared, the sky itself seemed to still. Even the spreading cracks in the heavens paused as though suppressed by his presence. There was no visible origin energy, but the pressure he exuded was suffocating. Wang Lin retreated instinctively. Rank 2, Celestial King, the evil youth exclaimed, eyes blazing. Unlike the others, this origin soul was fully conscious. His gaze settled upon Master Flamespark. Remember your promise, he said, his ancient voice echoing across the void. Then he entered a fragment. A terrifying aura burst forth from the 5th fragment. The mirror cracked further. Another soul emerged, a figure drenched in crimson, a boundless hatred radiating from his very being. Blood ancestor Wang Lin's expression changed drastically as he retreated in alarm. Yet a moment later he realized this was merely an empty shell. The spirit within was gone. The blood ancestor's origin soul silently merged into its fragment. But just before disappearing, he raised his head and looked at Wang Lin. The 4th soul had taken its place. Rank 6 Celestial King. The evil youth murmured, a grim smile forming. Interesting. I wonder, are there celestial lords as well? Master Flamespark's voice rang with pride. There are. The mirror shattered further, riddled with cracks as though on the verge of collapse. Then, 2 origin souls emerged at once. Their presence was overwhelming origin energy, so dense it nearly solidified. though incomplete, dim, and marked by seals upon their brows. The moment they appeared, the evil youth's expression changed. Rank 1 Celestial Lords. Wang Lin's face turned pale. From them he felt an aura akin to the all-seer, ancient, immeasurable. Master Flamespark formed seals rapidly, his voice carrying a hint of caution. Second and third souls, take your positions. The two souls glanced coldly at him before merging into their respective fragments. At that instant, the mirror trembled violently and shattered. From its ruin, one final origin soul stepped forth, a middle-aged man, ordinary in appearance, no visible fluctuations of power. Yet the moment he appeared, a killing intent erupted. It tore through heaven and earth, merging with the world itself, becoming one with existence. Wang Lin coughed up blood, instantly retreating with all his strength. Even as he activated every ounce of origin energy, the killing intent lingered, suffocating and inescapable. His face was pale with shock. The Slaughter Celestial Lord. Rank 6, Celestial Lord of the Rain Celestial Realm. The evil youth said, his expression darkening. The man stood calmly, his gaze falling upon Master Flamespark. First soul, enter your position, Master Flamespark commanded. After a moment of silence, the man stepped forward and merged into the central fragment. At once, a boundless killing intent erupted from the core, spreading across all 49 fragments. Master Flamespark's eyes burned with exhilaration. The celestial formation converge. Originally, the blood ancestor had not been part of his design, but upon obtaining that soul, he had altered his plan. As his command echoed, the Thunder Celestial Realm underwent a final transformation. The 49 fragments, each now housing a treasure soul, shrunk rapidly, becoming palm-sized, circling around Master Flamespark like divine relics. From each fragment, a divine sense emerged, converging into his body. As all 49 divine senses returned to him, his form solidified. To refine the Thunder Celestial Realm, he had divided his own origin soul into 49 parts, embedding them within the fragments. Only through this could he fully control them. Now, his origin soul had become whole once more. His true body had descended, surrounded by the 49 fragments, each radiating terrifying power. Master Flamespark appeared like a sovereign of the heavens, majestic, untouchable. Very interesting, the evil youth said slowly, eyes fixed on him. This celestial formation treasure is formidable, yet it still lacks a certain ferocity. His lips curled faintly. That must be why you brought me here. Master Flamespark stared directly at him. Celestial Lord Qing Shui, I want your G-realm. The evil youth frowned slightly. I am not Qing Shui. Master Flamespark shook his head. This old man has entered the celestial realm hundreds of times and uncovered all the secrets I could. In the Thunder Celestial Realm, there once existed a man named Qing Shui. His voice grew deep, heavy with history. A cultivator of unparalleled power, one who possessed the legendary G-realm, and the heir to the kingdom of clear water. And so he began to recount the ancient tragedy, a tale of ascension, of madness, of slaughter, of a man who had killed his own kin, his disciples, his Tao partner of tens of thousands of years, and in a fleeting moment of clarity had chosen annihilation over existence, sealing his own soul, dividing himself into 9 parts to prevent the G-realm from ever reviving him again. A disciple beloved by the celestial emperor Bai Fan, perhaps even destined to become the next emperor himself. As the tale ended, Master Flamespark produced an ancient celestial jade. This was left behind by Celestial Emperor Bai Fan, regarding his disciple Qing Shui. See for yourself. He tossed the jade forward. The youth caught it. After a long silence, confusion flickered in his eyes.